2020 budget, the agriculture sector received one of the smallest allocations in recent history, a mere 0.7 billion. Compare that to education, 5.8 billion, or health, over 6 billion. One agriculture expert, Diana Francis of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, says when it comes to the budget, the size of the allocation is not the only factor to take into consideration.
While everybody is expecting something different because of COVID-19, the needs of this sector have always been the needs of the sector. COVID-19 just made it more obvious to almost everybody. So now everybody's talking the same language as far as agriculture is concerned.
As to what we should be looking forward to for the upcoming budget, Ms. Francis broke the criteria down into 3 key areas.
One is that there should be measures to support agricultural productivity, to manage risks, and also to reduce losses and waste in the chain. So we speak about things like supporting for innovation, supporting technology, supporting proper business practices.
She says ensuring consumer confidence in the food chain is another key area.
Because of COVID-19, there were a lot of scares in terms of the food supply, whether the food can be imported or not. So we need to be able to be self-reliant in Trinidad and Tobago, to grow our own food, to feed ourselves. And therefore, consumers here have to be confident that local food products are safe and wholesome compared to what they're accustomed to buying extra-regionally.
This is extremely important when considering the push to buy local. The third measure, she says, should allow for the ease of doing business in agriculture.
For example, transactions, the capacity building and so forth, allows the sector's outputs, the products, the food, etc., to get into mainstream marketing and distribution and manufacturing. So we'd hope to see those measures.
Ms. Francis says the agriculture allocation cannot take care of all of the issues in agriculture. Other budgets must complement what's in agriculture.
The Ministry of Health and the safety issues, Ministry of Education and school feeding and other purchasing, Ministry of Infrastructure and Utilities, water supply. So while everybody has expectations for what the agriculture budget ought to look like, we have to see it compared to the entire budget and what is required for the development of the sector nationally.
Another example is farmers' perennial water woes, which she says needs a strong connection between the ministry and the authority in charge of water resources. A similar connection is needed between the Ministries of Education and Agriculture when it comes to training new and existing farmers. Ms. Francis says the government's Roadmap to Recovery Committee was a good opportunity for all the sectors, and she notes agriculture was given great priority in that process. During the 2020 election campaign, some promises were made to stakeholders in the industry, among them an increase in budget allocation by some 500 million and a special eye on cocoa production.
And one of the things we are committing to with government support is a greater acreage of cocoa. But of course, we can't plant cocoa without cocoa plants. We have to ensure that there's planting material available. We will ensure in the first year or two that we put some of that money in the initiative to increase the amount of cocoa.
Cocoa farmers say they hope that these incentives for them are made available through the 2021 budget. Of course, most stakeholders agree that to keep the local agriculture industry going, from a consumer standpoint, we must buy local. Stacy-Ann Providence, TTT News.